You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
There we go. Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, 6th day of November, 2023. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. This is our second live broadcast of the day. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. The first broadcast starts at the Wall Street Open, 15 minutes before the Wall Street Open, 9:15 a.m. Eastern, and runs all the way to 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Now that's our live trading room. That's reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you have not yet taken your 1-week free trial, go to mytradingiq.com, and at the very top of the page there's a link that says 5-day free trial. Click the link. Doesn't matter what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day. Click the link, fill out the form. We'll get your desktop set up. We'll get your indicators indicating. And then the following trading day, that's when your trial will actually begin. So you will get 5 consecutive trading days, even if it stretches over a weekend. So once the live training room ends, we take a 30-minute break, and then we come back for the afternoon broadcast, which is open to the public. That's everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. Now, there's 2 different ways to join the afternoon broadcast live. The best way, go to mytradingiq.com. This time, scroll down to where it says afternoon broadcast. Click the link. Complete the 30-second registration form, and you're done. You only have to do this once. Going forward, what will happen? Every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before this broadcast starts. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform, where you will have access to the question box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Now, there's going to be days when you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you would still like to join the broadcast live. And there will be days when you're busy and you can't join live, but you would like to check it out later. Got you covered, either situation. It's our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, There's over 2,300 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. Now, if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's also a great way to get to know who we really are. Not just today or this week, but how we've evolved over the years. Thanks to YouTube, you can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, even more. Just pick a few days at random. Listen in. You'll quickly see the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity that's woven through each and every daily broadcast. youtube.com/CFRN. Let's get going this Monday. We're going to start. Some of you are probably bleary-eyed because, I don't know, you had to turn your, let's see, fall forward, spring back. No, spring forward, fall back. Whatever. We don't have to worry about that in Arizona because we don't do daylight savings time. True story. I think Florida tried to pass a similar law and it didn't get passed. Then there was a law on the federal level that got hung up in Congress that never got passed. So here we are. We are officially off daylight savings time, which does make a difference for me because during daylight savings time, I'm on Pacific time, 3 hours to the East Coast. So the Wall Street Open is at 6:30 a.m. Eastern for me. But now for the next 4 months, the Wall Street Open is at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. Because right now I'm only 2 hours from the East Coast. Just thought I'd throw that in for you. All right. I said we would get going with our daily devotional. Today's the last day on this topic, power of a simple prayer. Now, previous topic was conversations with God. And then all of last week and today, power of a simple prayer. Our scripture today, Colossians chapter 1, verses 15 through 19. I'm going to share it with you from the Message translation. We look at the sun and see the God who cannot be seen. We look at the sun and see God's original purpose in everything created. For everything, absolutely everything, above and below, visible and invisible, rank after rank after rank of angels, everything got started in Him and finds its purpose in Him. He was there before any of it came into existence and holds it all together right up to this moment. And when it comes to the church, He organizes and holds it together like a head does a body. He was supreme in the beginning and leading the resurrection parade, He is supreme in the end. From beginning to end, He's there, towering far above everything and everyone. So spacious is He, so expansive, that everything of God finds its proper place in Him without crowding. Not only that, but all the broken and dislocated pieces of the universe, people and things, animals and atoms, get properly fixed and fit together in vibrant harmonies. All because of his death, his blood that poured down from the cross. Again, that was Colossians chapter 1, verses 15 through 19. The one who hears. When you pray, remember the name of the one who hears. Jesus. Jesus has unimpeachable authority. Philippians 2:9 or Hebrews 1:3, he sustains everything by the mighty power of his command. Philippians 2:9, God exalted him to the highest place and gave him the name that is above every name. The Roman government tried to intimidate him. False religion tried to silence him. The enemy tried to kill him. All failed. In Acts 2:24 it says, even death was no match for him. Jesus disarmed the spiritual rulers and authorities. He shamed them publicly by his victory over the cross. Colossians 2:15. He was not kidding when he declared, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Matthew 28:18. Jesus is the command center of the galaxies. In Matthew 10:29 we read, 2 sparrows cost only a penny, but not even one of them can die without your Father knowing it. He occupies the true Oval Office. He called a coin out of the mouth of a fish. He stopped the waves with a word. He spoke and a tree withered. He spoke again and a basket became a banquet. Economy, meteorology, botany, food supply. All things have been handed over to me by my Father. Matthew 11:27. When we pray in the name of Jesus, we come to God on the basis of Jesus' accomplishment, not our own. Since we have a great high priest, Jesus, over the house of God, let us draw near with a true heart in full assurance of faith. Hebrews 10:21. As our high priest, Jesus offers our prayers to God. His prayers are always heard. So pray. Since God works, prayer works. Since God is good, prayer is good. Since you matter to God, your prayers matter in heaven. You're never without hope because you're never without a prayer. And on the occasions you can't find the words to say, pull these out of your pocket. Father, you are good. I need help. Heal me and forgive me. They need help. Thank you. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, as we come before you today, we're awed by the profound truths found in Colossians. which describe the preeminence and majesty of your Son, Jesus Christ. Lord, we praise you for Jesus, the image of the invisible God and the firstborn over all creation. He is the source of all things, the one through whom all things were created. We stand in awe of his divine nature and his role as the head of the church. We thank you for the reconciliation we have through Jesus, through his sacrifice on the cross. His blood has made peace between us and you, and through him we can be presented as holy and blameless in your sight. Lord, we acknowledge that Jesus is the ultimate reason for our existence and the center of our faith. We marvel at this authority and power which holds the universe together and bring about the redemption of our souls. As we reflect on these truths, we are reminded of our complete dependence on Jesus. We entrust our lives, our struggles, and our aspirations to him, recognizing that he is the ultimate answer to every question and the solution to every need. May our lives be a testament to the supremacy of Jesus Christ in all things. Help us to honor him in our actions, thoughts, and words, that he may be glorified in and through us. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. All right, I'm going to give you the numbers from around the world, but I apologize. I'm going to have to put you on hold for just 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, sorry guys. Minor crisis. All right, let's do the numbers from around the world. We'll start here in the U.S. The cash markets, or the indices as they're called. Currently the Dow up 40 points. NASDAQ up 12. S&P 500 up less than 2. This should grab your attention. The Russell 2000, or man in the street, down almost 20 points. That's over 1%. The indices were very flat overnight and this morning for the most part. But we'll see that up close when we take a look at the charts. In the commodity basket, crude oil up $1.23, trading 81.74 last. It's a gain of 1.5%. Gold down $8.80, trading 19.90.40 last. Silver down 9 cents, trading 23.19 last. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 758 points. That's over 2.25%. The Shanghai gained 27 points, almost 1%. The Hang Seng gained 302 points, 1.75%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE up 3 cents, basically unchanged on the session. Basically unchanged on the session. The DAX dropped 53 points. The CAC fell 33. So that gave us a green day in Asia. It was basically a red day for the UK. And it is a mixed Radio Monday here in the US of A. 3 of the major indices in the green, but not by much. I mean, the Dow's only up 36, the NQ is only up 16, the S&P is only up 2. But the one that jumps out is, of course, the Russell, down 19. So, that, let's go here. Logic 247. So 24/7 around the clock E-mini alert service. Not just the E-minis though, but also crude, gold, silver, euro, bonds. We're in week 275 since we launched Logic 247. And over the last 275 weeks, we've issued over 15,300 individual handcrafted alerts. And we've averaged 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out on a weekly basis using a very simple market strategy risk profile that we teach all of our passport holders in their unlimited one-on-one mentoring sessions. So last week we ended up with a total of 45 alerts issued, 6 stopped out, 17%. Since the markets opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern through 6:30 a.m. this morning when Valerie posted this recap, which she will update this afternoon and this evening, we issued a total of 7 alerts. At the time she did the recap, we were still waiting on the outcome of 2. That gave us 5 actionable alerts, which 1 or 20% have been stopped out based on that risk profile I just spoke of. Now, the logic alerts are based on current price action. There's time built into every alert for you to get the alert, study your 30-minute chart, see the window of opportunity that it represents, and then you're ready to go when price reaches the entry. And that's where you use what you learn every morning in the live trading room. Again, the purpose of the alerts is to help you become self-sufficient. If your goal is to trade for a living, you don't want to spend the rest of your life waiting on somebody else to tell you when to get in and when to get out. So the more times you get an alert, go to the 30-minute chart, see the window of opportunity. The more times you repeat that process, pretty soon you'll look at a 30-minute chart and you'll go bing, bing, bing. There's window. If we keep moving higher, boom, there's a window. If we continue lower. Once you're able to see the window of opportunity, you can't unsee it. Now, we still have our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. Those are a little bit different. Number one, they're based on historic price action. And they don't come out around the clock like the logic alerts. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. So the logic alerts, they can come out at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. when opportunity presents itself. But the CTAs are posted as a static report shortly after the Globex open. The new week started last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. That was the beginning of the Monday session. And this report was published at 6:10. Unfortunately, the markets just, for the most part, have traded sideways. So cover all the same markets that we cover with the Logic 247. When the report is published, the first thing you want to do is go to the 30-minute chart of whatever market or markets you trade. Make a note on your 30-minute chart where price was at the time the report came out. Draw a line in the sand at the long target, a line in the sand at the short target. Those will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. If price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. It's pretty simple. You just have to look left to spot potential obstacles, previous swing highs or swing lows, and you'll learn in time how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. This is important to remember. Price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night till they close Friday afternoon, price is above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the zone overhead. If price is below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the zone below. We had a number of markets last week that closed above the highest weekly trading zone, which is pretty unusual. We've published the zones for our members every week since December 14th of 2009. They come out at 6:15 a.m. Eastern on Monday morning, and they are carved in stone the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. Once you understand how price behaves at the weekly zones, only one of three things can happen. The zones will become one of the most important tools in your trading toolbox. You simply have to resist the urge to make it more complicated than it is. Trading's not easy, but it can be simple. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. So let's go take a peek at the daily chart. And as we discussed last week, we came really close to completing this measured move head and shoulders pattern. And as we began to climb with blue and climbing, as we broke this trend line on Friday, we said it's possible we go up to the 38, where we had all this turbulence previously. And that could become the resistance that pushes us back down for another leg or series of legs to actually complete that pattern. If we don't complete it, it's no big deal. But any technical analysis 101 book will tell you that's how it's supposed to work. You measure from the top of the head to the neckline, and once the neckline gets broken, you just drag your measuring stick down, and there you go. This time we actually had a bullish cross. Whenever we have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area, it will almost always be good support. Again, we came really close to hitting that area, but we didn't quite make it. And I got a feeling there may be some downside, more downside on the horizon. You can clearly see the head, the shoulder, neckline. Okay, and that neckline just so happens to be the 38% fib retracement, which was resistance on Friday, and so far today has been resistance. The market hasn't moved much. I mean, look at the size of Friday's candle, Thursday's candle, Wednesday's candle, and let's look at today's candle. You can barely see it on the daily chart. Not a lot of movement. Now, institutional traders look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Why? It has to do with account size. When the institutions trade, that moves price. So whatever market you trade, doesn't have to be the S&P. It could be any futures market. It could be any individual stock, crypto, Forex, ETF. Doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. But by looking at the daily chart, you get a quick glimpse. If you just spend 2 minutes with the daily chart of whatever market you trade, it'll give you some very important information. It's showing us where resistance is at the high of the session, which was the high of Friday's session. And then support is down here at the step line and the BBC. If we trade through the BBC, then we're going to hit blue and climbing. And you've got the 50% fib in there. So, I mean, this should be a pretty good area of support if price drops back to it. Now, it's possible that price could continue climbing all the way to this trend line, even hit the 24% fib retracement, and drop to complete the pattern. No promise or guarantee that it will. Just saying, could. Okay. The green lines of the BBC stands for bull bear cross. Price crosses above it. We're bullish and anticipate higher prices. When price gets below it, we're bearish. We anticipate lower prices. Higher prices, lower prices. It's all pretty simple. Just don't make it more complicated than that. Now, the indicators you see here are the same ones you see here. The vertical line separates today, Monday, which began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, from Friday. And if you scroll back, you'd see Thursday and Wednesday, and etc. Now, this was the opening candle last night. And what have we done? We've gone sideways. High of the session, 43.89.5. low of the session so far, 43.75. That's pretty unusual. Okay. Now, prices below the BVC, we have red and falling. So if we take out this low, and as price begins to drop, look left, the spot where the market may find support. In this case, 43.64, 43.61, 43.53, and then that would bring us down to where this bullish cross took place and the short target at 43.34. Now, looking at the 30-minute chart as compared to the daily chart, okay, we can easily see which way the market is trying to go. But the institutions really haven't made up their minds yet. When you start seeing moves like this, then all the institutions are on board. Okay. Here, there's no consensus among the deep pockets. Just rolling sideways. On the Dow, same thing. Just rolling sideways since the market opened last night. Almost as if something's broken. But it's not. This was the highest weekly trading zone for last week. We closed above it, as we did on the ES, as we did on the Russell. Here's where we opened last night. We pulled back to the BVC, blue and climbing, turned to red and falling. We had a couple of, attempts to go higher. In fact, this high right here lines right up with this high from Friday. And then the bottom sort of fell out. Remember when I gave you the numbers from around the world, the Russell was the one in the red. Now, sometimes the Russell leads the way. But don't try building a trading strategy around that, because the Russell does not always lead. No one index always leads the others. The S&P is the bellwether, 500 large cap companies. Ultimately, the other indices are going to go where the S&P goes, but they may get out in front, or in this case, get below. And at this point, I'm waiting for the other markets to do what the Russell has done. Now, just because I'm waiting for that doesn't mean it happens. It's going to happen. But last week, the highest weekly zone was 1744/45. So we came down, we hit that zone. These are last week's zones because on Sunday night, any alerts that go out are based on the previous week's zones, because the new zones don't come out until Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Now that the new zones are out, any alerts that are published today, this week, will all be based on the new set of weekly zones. And on tomorrow's broadcast, my charts will reflect the new zones. Okay, so price came down, hit the short target, hit the weekly zone from last week, and when price drops to a zone, we expect support. That's what we got. Just consolidating. On the NQ, here's where we opened. Red and falling did turn to blue and climbing. So there was potential to get your goal for the day through this area here. We pull back to the BBC. The pullback holds more often than not, as it did here, 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 here. Now we finally traded through it. We did reach up towards the long target, but we didn't quite make it. But there was plenty of room to get your goal for the day on that move. Now the NQ looks like it just might want to follow the Russell. It's below the BBC. There's potential support right where we're at, then potential support here, then potential support here, and then again, you just look left, potential support, and then the short target. Crude oil. Here's where we opened last night. We were below the BBC, but we had blue and climbing below us, which represents support. Blue and climbing finally turned to red and falling, but price went nowhere except sideways. Then we got back above the BBC, got the perfect stack. Price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC. And as you can see, we walked right up to the target, pull back to the step line, hit the zone, pull back to BBC, hit the zone, pull back to the BBC, and now we're just consolidating. Now, blue and climbing is directly above price, so that's actually becomes resistance. On the way up like this, where you have price, step line, blue and climbing, that's bullish and that's support. But once blue and climbing gets directly above price, it becomes potential resistance because it's an indication that it may be on its way to becoming red and falling, which is bearish and calls for lower prices. Gold, here's where we opened, consolidated a little at the zone, pulled up. Well, we dropped right to the short target. Then we pulled back to the BBC, the pullback held. We dropped to the target again. And then we dropped below the low of Friday. It's really about this low here. You see this low from last Thursday, right here, this low. You follow the horizontal line on the cursor. Once the market defines support or resistance, that will remain support or resistance until it's broken. Sounds like Michael is ready. So we'll finish this recap after he gives us a recap of what happened in the live training room this morning. And we go 30 minutes live on TradingView. And then I'll finish up that recap. Michael, did you get my message about... Oh, okay, I see where you sent me, you messaged me back. Okay.
Yep, I fixed it.
Okay.
I fixed it.
All right. Okay, looks good.
All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 6th day of November. Wow. November 2023. Wow. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on this button right here. When you click on that button, you will be brought to this page. Yeah, this page. Yeah, this page. On this page, just fill out the little form. Once you fill out the form, you'll be sent a link to get into the next session prior to the next. I'm sorry. When you fill out this form, you'll be sent the information you need to get into the live room for 5 consecutive business days. All right, fill that form out, and that's all you need to do. Now, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today, and I suppose this week, is probably going to be pretty quiet. We have really, until Thursday, I don't think we have any news this week. Well, I mean, normal news like crude inventories and stuff. But today on the NQ, we're up 15 ticks. On the Russell, we're up 9, and on crude, we're up 1. Put us at 130. Now we started off we start off with 2 stop outs on the NQ, and then a whole bunch of break-even trades. So it took us a little while to get the goal for the day today. We ended up taking 40 minutes and 9 trades to get to the goal. At that point, with 11 contracts on, we're at $1,595. And that put us at plus 130 overall on the morning session. Okay. On the month now, we're at $1,510. That's over 4 trading days, averaging $377.50. per contract per morning session. On the year, we're now at 94,347 over 211 trading days, averaging $447 per contract per morning session. If you were to quit when you get your goal for the day and you were to add one contract per month, that means you have to work your way up to another contract. That's why we're at 11 contracts now in the morning, because we're on our 11th month. If you were to do that, then so far this year, you would have only had to work 69.95 hours, 69.95 hours. And well, just call it 70. And you would have averaged $2,469 per hour. Again, that's not to say you're going to sit down and make $2,400 every time you trade for an hour. So far this month, in 4 days, we worked just over an hour and a half. And with 11 contracts on, we made $6,105 for that hour and a half. That's where you want to be, really. All right. We'll get into the trades. On the crude, we had just a couple of trades. Let's crunch it up a little bit so it's not that far to scroll. The first trade was right here. We ended up with a break even on that one. The next trade was right here. We ended up with a 1 tick on that. Now the markets, I'm surprised I did that one. Well, I think it was this one right here that I actually did. I don't think it was that green arrow. I think it was this green arrow that I actually took. That looks a little better. This one right here, the long-term direction is really flat. But it came right after the small green arrow, and I think I took the 1 tick on the green arrow right there. You can see that the long green arrows gave a couple of decent trades in here, but the markets are really flat today, and I suspect they will be all week. Just not a lot of opportunity because there's not a lot of news. You'd think with everything that's going on overseas, globally, that there'd be all kinds of activity and movement, but it does not seem to be the case. All right, on the Russell, we started out with 1 break-even trade right here. We did have a nice green arrow right there that I missed. Long green arrow right there that I missed. I took this one right here coming out of the zone and with a break-even on that. Another long green arrow there that worked out just fine. Long green arrow here that did not. Another one right here that did. One right here that I took, and this one we got 9 ticks on that one. Another green arrow over here that worked out pretty well. Again, we didn't have a ton of movement today, so we didn't have a ton of trades. Right? I'll lock that down. We'll go here on this, and you can see. Look at all this no trade zone in here on the ES. Just a ton of no trade zone. Right, and that was, well, look at the whole day. We had on the ES, we had this 1 break-even trade right there. That was all that we took on the ES this morning. There was 1 more trade here. We managed to get out of a no trade zone for a little bit. I missed that, and there's been nothing else. This is what the markets have been like, no trade zones. Now, when you get into a day like this, you know, I guess I should point this out. When you get into a day like this, if you go to a 4-tick range, you're going to have to change the sensitivity a bit on this. But if you go to a 4-tick range and change the sensitivity, so it's just going to show where it's flat. See that? You got some nice green arrow trades right there that you can take. The long green arrows, look at them all. They're everywhere. When you get into a day where there's, on a 7 range, there's just not a lot of volatility, not a lot of movement, you can bump it down a little bit. And if you look at the website, right in here, if you go to mytradingiq.com, trade rules, right here we have the risk management strategy for a 4-tick range. Okay, just want to point that out to you. There's, you know, on a smaller time frame, there's much of opportunity. If there's nothing on the 7 range, cut it in there, see what you get. All right, there were some pretty nice trades in there. There. When you think about getting the goal for the day, this one here, you had your entry there at 80 and it dropped down to 77.50, enough for the goal. This one here, you had your entry at 78.25, it dropped down to 76, enough for the goal. Just the long arrows, that one would have stopped you out. That one probably would have stopped you out too. Just scroll all the way back here. There was an opportunity there and there and there. I don't think this one here would have gotten you a goal for the day. That one would have gotten pretty close. This one would have gotten you like a point. This one would have stopped you out. But when you drop it down to a smaller time frame like that, I guess that's all I'm trying to say. You have the opportunity just not in the larger time frame. Okay. Speaking of larger time frame, I'll look at that in a minute if I have a chance. But it's now 12:56. That was the ES. We didn't have that many trades on the NQ today either, so we may have time. We started out with 2 stop outs on the NQ. Let's get right back to the beginning. Here it is. That one there was our first trade. We're at minus 20 on that one. We had a break even on that one, another minus 20 on that one, so we're down 40. And then we went short in here on this black arrow right here. We had hit the ribbon right there, so I thought the black arrow would be okay. I took the black arrow, and we picked up 44 ticks on that, 11 points on that one trade. Somehow, my 30-tick target wasn't there, so it just gave me, I just kept trailing my stop. And we ended up with 44 ticks. So that knocked out those 2 stop outs and gave me 4 ticks in profit. The next trade, we picked up 12 ticks. I got us to 16, still don't have the goal. Then the next trade over here, we picked up 13. That's where we got the goal. That put us at 29. And I believe that was the high of the day for us too, wasn't it? $145 a contract, I think. Then let's, oh, that's right. I forgot this. All right. So that gave us 29 ticks on the NQ. Now the next trade that we took in here, we had a few things in here. We took another one in here. Why did I didn't mark that one, but I think what I didn't mark in here was probably my stop out, because I stopped out and I went down to 9 ticks somewhere in here. I took a trade and I stopped out and I went down to 9 ticks. And then I believe that one got us back up to 11. And then I had another one right here that got us up to 15. And I believe that is where we ended trading for the session. Yeah, so I didn't mark one of the stop outs, but there was a stop out in there. I didn't mark. They brought me down to 9. Then I had a 2-tick and a 4-tick. During the break, there's a lot of green arrows that all look pretty good. Just the larger green arrows, all those look like they worked right there. If you would only take the higher probability trades, I think on the NQ today, you would have done all right. Higher, higher, higher. It's like 6, 7 in a row right there. That one would have stopped you out. That one would have got in for you. The one that I took in here stopped me out. There's like 8 of them that would have worked just fine, and 2 that didn't. And the 2 that didn't are 20-tick stop outs, and the 8 that did are 30-tick targets. So you can do the math. All right, it's 12:59. So I'm about to start the live stream, I believe. We are still able to do that. Now I'm not able to type in there, but I'm just going to get it started. Here we go. All right, there it goes. All right, so in the live stream today, to finish up the morning session, we finished this morning with plus 1 tick on crude, plus 15 ticks on the NQ. We're break even on the ES, and plus 9 ticks on the Russell. Just a quick look at the news today. We really didn't have anything. We had nothing for us right here. FOMC member Cook speaking, and he was speaking in Duke. Loan officer survey later in this afternoon. We really don't have anything that's going to bump the news around. That's going to bump the markets around tomorrow either. FOMC member Wallace speaks and Barr speaks. That's not going to do it. The economic optimism, now that could do it. It's marked as a low impact, but it doesn't have a time on it. Now that has bounced things around in the past, but I don't expect that any of these FOMC members speaking here are going to do anything. Now we get to Wednesday, and Powell's going to be speaking at 9:15 in the morning on Wednesday. Now, where is he speaking? Well, he's due to deliver opening remarks to the Division for Research and Statistics Centennial Conference in Washington, D.C. I don't think that that's really going to, it's not going to be televised. I don't think it's going to move the markets around. But on Wednesday, we should have crude inventories in here somewhere too, right? 10:30 Wednesday. Why aren't there crude inventories here? Was there a holiday? I don't remember. Well, anyway, I don't know why they're not listing crude inventories on Wednesday. Are they on Thursday? No, they're not listed on Thursday either. Powell's speaking again on Thursday too. Monetary change to the global economy, annual research conference in Washington, D.C. I don't expect that's going to do anything either. But we do have on Friday, I believe, we do have some news that finally have a high impact news event on Friday. I don't know why they're not listing crude inventories, but doesn't really matter. Let's get back to the markets. On the Russell right now, we want to down close on this. We're coming out of the overbought, so that should give us it should have given us a green arrow, a green short. The arrows they're on. I don't know why that. Oh, it didn't come out of the overbought. That's why we got the black arrow right there. All right, we got the black arrow instead of the green arrow. It didn't come out of the overbought. If it would have come out of the overbought, you would have had the trigger right in there. But either way, we got the black arrow going right here. Should go down through the low of the day down to here at least. But I'm going to bump my stop to break even after 4 ticks in profit. And I'm just going to lock in 1 tick on this. We have 0 follow through today, so I'm going to throw a target down there where it should go down to. That's earlier today. That's what when I got the 9 ticks, I just put a target on where it should go to, and it got there. So this one should go down to 42.8, I believe. I'll draw that in for you right now. 42.8, right there is where it should go down to. Okay. Over here, we want this to put in a higher swing. These numbers, 82 and 82.15, right at the open this morning, they were significant numbers. You see how little the market has moved today? They're significant numbers again. This 82.15 was actually a significant number from Friday, but right here at the open, it went up and hit that number, and then that number. That was a big number before it hit it. But right now, well, we don't have anything in there. We did hit that number down there. That's good. I missed this over here, the long green arrow on the ES. I missed that one. We want that to put in a lower swing. Okay. Let me close that and jump in here and go in here. Anybody in the live stream, if you have any questions in live stream, you can just type them in. I'll be happy to answer them. I can't type in answers, but Dwayne probably can. If you have any questions in there, but I can verbally answer your questions. So if you have any questions, you can type them in and I can verbally answer your questions. Okay. Again, if you haven't taken a free trial and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, sign up for the free trial right here in the registration page. Right here is where you give us a TradingView username. Okay. No credit card required. Now, we are just about putting in a lower swing here on the ES, not quite. We did on the Russell, so we can look for a pullback on that. Now, on the Russell, the pullback number is up at 44.2. 44.2, I don't know if you guys saw that, but it is right there is the pullback number. See if it gets up there. If it does get up there, I didn't look down for more targets down below where we went. I should have been looking down there, but okay, over here on the NQ, we're in a direction change here. So actually we're not. You can just take this down, close right there. Thing. Yeah, you just take that. Here it is. Okay, now 8 ticks in profit, and that stop goes to break even after 8 ticks in profit. So it's going to get down to 88.75. When it hits that, I'll hit break even, and then we'll ride this trade out. Okay. Now, all trades on the NQ, because it's on a 15-tick range, they start out with a 20-tick stop. So my stop is right there, 20 ticks away, 5 points away. Okay. All trades start out with a 20-tick stop on the NQ because it's a 15-tick range, and we just stopped out on that one because it's a 15 range. These all start out with a 10-tick stop, okay, because they're on a 7 range. This morning, in the lesson plan this morning, I went, one of the fellows in the lesson plan this morning had asked me to go into more detail. Don. Okay, I'll go look at that in a sec. One of the fellows this morning had asked me to go into more detail about placing the order entry based upon the bar size. So I was able to go into a lot more detail about that this morning. If you don't understand that, you can email us. You can write it in here, or you can email us at support@cfrn.net or support@mytradingiq.com. Okay. Wow. That just seemed like a lot of talking for 5 minutes. All right. So this needs to put in a lower swing after it stopped us out so far pretty much to the tick. It needs to put in a lower swing. This needs to put in a lower swing. This did put in a lower swing, but now to get another trade, this has to get in the overbought or this has to get in the ribbon. Okay. All right. Well, we just needed to pull back and hit the ribbon. The only one that's really just waiting for a pullback right now is the Russell. All right, this needs to put in a lower swing. This needs to choose a direction. And this needs to choose a direction. Does anybody want to see anything else? Don, you said the 4-hour ES 4360 on the 4-hour. Let's look at the bigger picture here, Don. Okay, what I was saying earlier today was the midpoint's pretty much everywhere. Everything's stuck at the midpoint on all these markets. Okay, I'm disconnected right now, I know. I'll reconnect that in just a second. I don't know why I disconnected on. Hang on. Let me reconnect that. Okay. Okay, so this is the ES, and it looks like here the midpoint held, and it's pushing it down to the zone down below. So I would anticipate at least the zone down here. Beyond the zone, it's breaking down below this. It should find support down here. Yeah, 4360. I see what you're looking at. It's not just on the 4-hour though, Don. It's everywhere. Right here, 4360, then the midpoint, and then you got a woo spot all the way through down to here. Okay, down to right there. So we'll see if it, the weekly trading zone is right here where it hung up before. So there's a good chance it's going to find some support there. I don't know if it's going to bounce it back up or not, but that's what the ES looks like. If we look at these other ones quickly while we're just waiting here, all the way to the end on that. That is the ES, sorry, the NQ. We're dropping through the ribbon on the NQ off the midpoint down toward the weekly trading zone there too. Now the next level of support on this is going to be right here. Okay, that's the NQ, and the crude oil's just been a mess. It was bouncing around in between the ribbon and the MA1 midpoint this morning. And the Russell. The Russell was the one that I thought was going to give us something decent, but let me back it out so you can see it a little clearer. Come on. Well, anyway, the Russell's in between the weekly trading zones, and it went through the midpoint. The midpoint between these zones was right. Sorry, I need to grab that and draw that for you. See, it jammed up at the midpoint, but it's getting through the midpoint now and probably going onto the zone down below. It's like the ES. Okay. So this NQ, after stopping us out, did end up putting in a lower swing in that direction. That's good. And the ES is now putting a lower swing in, probably going down to the zone. The Russell almost pulled back up to that pullback spot. It went through this. Now, I didn't have a trade set up for you on that, but look down right now for targets. 4170 is looking good, and that's all I can see right now. It's 4170 on the downside for a target. We need to pull back over here on the NQ. We need to pull back up and test the ribbon. Okay. We need that to pull back up. Test the ribbon. Get this into the overbought. At least just test the ribbon. We're dropping down here now to the weekly trading zone. It looks like I don't think we're going to get another trade set up. We did have a nice long green arrow there that worked out just fine. So we wait. We just have to wait. Anybody on the live stream, if you have any questions, just type them in. If you haven't taken a free trial and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, sign up for the free trial right there. It's going to be in the registration page. Just put in your TradingView username, and we will hook you up with the indicators for TradingView. Okay. All right. We need that to pull back up. Test the ribbon. All right. Well, over here now on Russell. It's got a lower swing in. It's got all that stuff. The downside has gone through the downside that I was looking for originally. Let's look for another target. 1741 even is looking pretty good, and then 1740.6. So I'll draw those in there for you. But 41 is right there, and 40.6 is the next level down. Right there. Okay. All right. I am going to have to go through all of those. Shamika, are you still in here? All right. Well, the NQ made a nice move down, and the ES is going down to the zone as we suspected. This is going down to hit these numbers. I was hoping it was going to pull back and get us into it before it did, but it's not. So we will have to check that out in a little bit. All right. Now we're going to pull back on the NQ. We are in the overbought. We got to pull back. If we get a down close right now and it pulls it out of the overbought, it's going to give us a black arrow. All right, let's get ready for that. I kind of want to go and see what that is trying to get down to. We have the weekly trading zone down below us there because we're coming off the midpoint right here. This red dotted line right there. That is a midpoint. So there's the black arrow on the down close. This is what it looks like it's trying to get down to, the weekly trading zone down here. Okay. Now we had this big move down. If you want to wait for it to pull back up and hit the ribbon, because that's a pretty decent retracement of this big move down, then that's probably a good idea at this point. The black arrow is pretty aggressive, but it could be the thing. The Russell has gone down and hit that first target that I gave you, and now we got to look for the next target. We got another black arrow here. Okay, I took the second black arrow here. I'm gonna bump that stop to break even now. We expect it's going to get down below this level right here, below 170. All right, so 170 is a swing low. That's right here is a swing low. Now it should go through that swing low and continue the trend. We don't have any risk on this trade. So now I took that trade, so I can't take a green arrow. If it does blow all the way back up and give the green arrow right now, I can't take that green arrow because I just took my chance right there with that black arrow. Look down now though. I'm looking down on a couple of different things. I'm looking down on the Russell, 39.12 is what that should go down to right now. I'm looking down on the ES, and that one, 43.68 is what that's going to try to get down to. 43.68, I'll throw that in for you. Okay, that's 68 and a quarter, it's really 68. Right there. Okay, and the NQ, I was thinking the weekly trading zone is where that's trying to get down to, way down here. Right now we got the break even on that one, but it did put in a lower swing, so I can take another trade now if it gives this one. I don't see any questions coming in, but 43.60 is, I think that's coming up here, Don. Got to get through this weekly trading zone and then it should happen. These numbers that were support numbers earlier, they were big numbers anyway, in the significant numbers in the DOM. They may act as resistance when price pulls back up here. Okay, on the Russell. Looking at the numbers, reading the DOM to you, 41.1 and 2 are decent, and 40.6. I think those are all the same numbers, aren't they? 40.6, yeah, they're all about the same. So they're still all looking like good numbers. Let me jump over here and live stream. Let's see if anybody's got any questions. I don't see any questions over there. All right. If anybody has any questions in the live stream, just type them into the live chat. All right. I will answer them verbally for you. We're in a no trade zone over here. This blue background right here is a no trade zone on the crude oil. Okay, so we're not going to do anything with that. And the NQ is still moving down. Still moving down ever so slowly. All right, so the ES just made it through the weekly trading zone down to here. Now, 60's only here, Don. It's right down there. It's not too far away. What Don typed in a little while ago was that 43.60 is in sight. Yeah, all the indices are just tanking right here. I think they're all going to try to go down to the zone down below. Yep. So if we go back here right now and we look at the Russell, you see what's going on with the Russell right here, right? It's going down to this weekly trading zone right down here, 1734. Let's back this out a little bit. Back this out a little bit. And look, we're in a woo spot here on the Russell. This is a window of opportunity. The Russell should go through the weekly trading zone all the way down to 1722. This is where it should go down to. This is a woo spot on the Russell right here. So if you get short on Russell, you should hold on to that thing for a long time. You know, we had opportunity back here, and that thing should go down quite a ways. I mean, things are going to retrace at some point, but right now, it's just diving. Everything is tanking. Yes. So this is going down to the zone. This went right through the zone. 43.60 will be right here. What was that number that I gave you on this? On the Russell. It was going to go through the zone down to a number down below that. I don't remember what I said. Here it is. 1725. 1725. So the Russell still got another 10 points in it. We're due for a deep pullback right here. We need to get it on all these things. We need to get a decent pullback. So we did have trade setups for all these. We had an entry there, we had an entry there, we had an entry back here for every one of these markets if you got into it and held on. All right, so the NQ is getting a decent pullback. We're up at the ribbon right here. We need a down close on that. There's the down close with the black arrow on the NQ. We have a similar thing happening here with the ES. The ES is in the overbought. It's not hitting the ribbon, but it's there. Now the NQ should go through the low of the day. I'm going to drag that beyond 30 ticks. All right, I'm going to lock in just a couple here, but I have right now we're in at 46.75, and I'll put it down here. I just got out with a couple. I was going to put it down here at 36.75 for 10 points or 40 ticks, but didn't work out. The ES has a black arrow right here, black arrow short. The Russell also has a black arrow short in there. Now the ES and the Russell are right above the low of the day. These are the lows right here, the low of days right here. The NQ was right over here. Okay, so they're all still headed down. This has got another 10 points in it on the way down. It wouldn't surprise me if it gets down to the zone, has a little bit of a bounce or consolidates sideways a little bit. But we didn't put in a lower swing over here on the NQ. We got down to the prior swing low and did not go through it. So interesting times right here. All right. So in the live stream, I'm looking over there right now. I don't see anybody typing any questions, so I'm just going to assume that everybody over there understands everything that's going on. If you do have any questions, you can type them into the live chat. I'll answer them verbally, or Dwayne can answer them in text. Yeah, you can also email us at support@cfrn.net or support@mytradingiq.com. It's now 1:23, so we only have 7 minutes left in here. So we had a couple of opportunities to get into this, a couple of opportunities to get into this, and a couple of opportunities to get into this. I did get into that twice, I got into that once, I got into that once so far. It's approaching the weekly trading time. I'm thinking we're going to get a bounce off the zone here. Yeah, if anybody has any questions about anything, all you have to do is type it in. All right. If you like what you see and you want to take a free trial, get to understand everything that you're looking at, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on that. There is no credit card required. This is what the form looks like. It's one sheet form, take you 30 seconds. Probably not even 10 seconds. The most important 10 seconds of your life. Could be. If you learn and you figure it all out. Life-changing event. Right now we're in the ribbon. We need a down close out of the ribbon. We're in the weekly trading zone also, so I'm not going to take anything on the CS, but it should drop down to here, 43.60. Okay, and you guys remember what that was from? I showed you a few minutes ago. On the ES, it was right here. This I drew over here. It's a cross of the MA1 and the BBC right here. It's consolidated, all bunched up right here, but it's an MA1 BBC cross. There's one that just happened up here too, so that's significant. It's going to come back up to this level at some point. That's going to be significant up there. Was I looking in the wrong place? I think I was. Hang on, let me go back to that. That's 43.33. Okay, that's a significant thing too. But 43.60 was was right in here. Right in here where it found support earlier. Right, and the midpoint is right here at 43.56. Dawn is at 43.60, 43.55, 43.56. It's significant. Right here, the green line got down into the cycle now, so it's time for it to pull back some. We'll see if the weekly trading zone holds, if it's going to push right through. Okay, we have an arrow here I didn't notice, but Still take it, I think. I don't think it's gone 4 ticks into profit. No, it hasn't. So I just took that on the Russell. Okay. The entry point should have been here, 38.4. I'm in at 38.2. That's pretty close. It should work its way down to the weekly trading zone down here. Okay, that's what it should do right now. It does have a pullback number right at my stop, but we'll see. It's got numbers on the push side right about where I should get my stop to break even too. All right, the ES is dropping through the zone now. So that is actually a potential trade there because it's off the ribbon. This is a ribbon trade. Now, the reason you don't have an arrow is because it didn't come out of the overbought right there. All right, that's the reason there's no arrow on that. If it would have popped out of the overbought, you'd have a long green arrow on this. So here, I'm not short on both of them. We're on the other side of the ribbon. That's why I'm the other side of the weekly trading zone. That's why I took it. Normally I wouldn't take one going into the zone, but it's on the other side of the zone. So if I take a chance on that. Now each one of these has a 10 tick stop on it. All right, each one has a 10 tick stop. And they should both go down through the low of the day. Should. The NQ is just flat and sideways right here. So we'll see what happens with that. The one has gone 4 ticks into profit yet. So I don't have room to put the stop to break even yet, or a reason to put the stop to break even. It is now 128. We'll see what happens here. The next 2 minutes. I'm telling. Could be. They should both continue down right now. We don't have anything on the NQ, though the NQ could start moving down and still give us a trade. Okay, we don't have anything over here on crude, which is totally flat and sideways. Nothing in the stream. No questions over there in the stream. Doesn't look like it. All right. Well, it also looks like it's pulling back a little bit here. They both look like they're pulling back. We have 1 minute left. I think we're going to finish the trades out in the next minute. I'd love to see them both push all the way down to new lows. They're about ready to go right now, I think. The NQ getting ready to drop as well over here. See this consolidation right at the weekly trading zone. That's usually why I don't like to trade near a zone. In a zone. But I do think they're all going to drop right now after this consolidation. All right. Could be wrong. Maximum risk, 10 ticks on each one. And we have 15 seconds left. I'll leave you all in suspense. All right, well, it is time, and it looks like it's going to push down right now. Maybe I'll give it an extra minute and see. But if you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, if you like what you see, the markets are really slow today, so it's easy to do this stuff in slow motion. But if you like what you see, you want to try out the indicators, the only way to try out the indicators is through the free trial. All right, so go to mytradingiq.com and sign up for the free trial. It's a really simple process. Go here, mytradingiq.com, click on this button. That will bring you to this, fill out this form, put in your TradingView username right there, your TradingView login ID. We'll be able to enable your indicators right away. Well, as soon as we get to it, but within an hour or two usually. Okay, so take that free trial and we'll get your stuff enabled. All right, you're just gonna have to watch these on your own. I'm thinking they're both gonna go down through the low of the day. That's what they can look. It's about ready to bust right here. Give it another minute. At least want to get the stop to break even. It needs to go down 2 more ticks to get the stop to break even on this one. I know suspense. It's killing me. 2 more ticks. Come on, you're almost there. It's definitely going to go down. You see this number down here? It's going down through all that. Can't guarantee the Russell, but I think the ES is definitely going to go down. I'm going to hit break even as soon as I can, and it will be done. I don't think we have the chance to do that on the Russell. But again, if you want access to the indicators, go to mytradingiq.com, sign up for the free trial right there. I guess I'm going to wrap it up. We'll leave you in suspense. All right, that's it, guys. With that, I'm going to wrap up the live stream, send it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, in Studio A, overlooking South Mile, America's largest city park. Dwayne, it is now all yours.
Okay. Recap of the morning session.
Today, it took 40 minutes and 9 trades to get to $1,595 a contract, and I am now bumping that stop to break even on the ES, and we're almost there for the Russell.
Good
For
job.
those of you guys that were still in this. All right, and we got the long green arrow on the ES too. Sweet.
Okay, guys, you're looking at 30-minute charts now. There's the Russell. Russell is now. Remember, I still have the last week's zones on my chart because the alerts that go out Sunday night are based on the last week's zones. The new zones come out Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So on tomorrow's broadcast, my charts will have the new weekly trading zones. And we've got a zone coming up at 1733/4. It's the low here, 35.40. However, pay attention that the step line has crossed red and falling. When that happens, quite often we will see a retracement back to the VVC, pullback holds more often than not. So at that point, we would expect another leg to the downside. And at the beginning of the broadcast, and even on Friday, we talked about the 38% fib, which is also the neckline, this big head and shoulders pattern. Could be the resistance that sends us back down, but it's going to send us down into some powerful support. Step line, BBC, and the 50% fib retracement on the daily chart. That's support times 3. I'm going to throw this trend line in, you can make it support times 4. So if price can get through that, that's a powerful signal that the institutional traders have no real interest in the upside at this point. I talked about this on Thursday and Friday, the fact that when the Fed announcement came out and we got no rate hike for the second FOMC in a row, of course, there was irrational exuberance. Everybody's very happy. But now that traders have had a chance to kind of think about it, it's like, this guy was hell-bent on raising rates no matter how much it took to tame inflation. And you know that I totally disagree with that whole philosophy of how to fix a fragile economy, which is what the current administration has brought us to. So, we'll see what ultimately happens. If we get to this area, we very well could get a nice bounce. And then on the second attempt to come through, the next support would be blue and climbing. And then, of course, you've got the 62% fib. And the low that we put in October 27th. So we already walked through all the markets. Everything's just flat. We finally got some downside movement. Now, I did say at the beginning of the broadcast, when I gave you the numbers from around the world, we had 3 of the major indices barely in the green, but the Russell was down 19 points. And that sometimes the other markets will follow the Russell. Again, don't try building a trading strategy off of that because it doesn't happen all the time. But it often does. So, you know, you don't wake up to see if the Russell's leading or lagging to determine how you're going to trade today. What you should wake up every day and say is, I'm going to do exactly what I've been taught, exactly the way I've been taught to do it. It's a business based on probabilities. You will get stopped out. There is no strategy, no indicator, no oscillator, no holy grail, no algorithm, not nothing, not nowhere, not know how, that can tell you with certainty what's going to happen next in the market. It's simply not possible. In order to do such a thing, you would have to have some kind of magic crystal ball that's able to read the mind of every trader in the marketplace at any given moment. Tens of thousands of traders, some institutional, some retail, okay? And not only read their mind as to what they're thinking, but have you ever thought, you know, I think I'm going to do this, and then all of a sudden you did the exact opposite? You see how that makes it impossible? I know you get lots of emails that lead you to websites that have a lot of really powerful, professionally written ad copy proclaiming to have finally unlocked the mystery of the markets. Okay? The only holy grail that exists in the markets is learning how to trade. Period. Does our strategy and our indicators make the job simpler? It does. Trading's not easy. It can be simple. And we've been working very hard for many years to make it as simple as we possibly can. So if you're new, don't drag in stuff, you know, it caused you to blow up accounts in the past. Well, I paid good money for that thing. Okay. And now you're here. So just put that on the shelf long enough to clear your head so that you can do as you're taught in the live training room every day. Understand the importance of the zones, price being above or below, BBC, all of these things. It may sound complicated at first, but I promise you, after a couple of weeks, you'll realize it's really the simplest thing you've ever encountered if you follow it as it's presented and as it's taught every trading day, 2 hours and 15 minutes in our live training room. Okay, we've already looked at the ES. It has dropped, so I imagine the Dow has probably dropped a little bit. That's a little bit. Russell, we already covered. That's the one that traded down through the short target. NQ dropped, but it stalled out this low right here. If I teach you nothing else but learning how to look right properly, it's well worth the price of admission. So back to crude, we know that we hit the long target, pull back to the BBC, hit the long target, pull back to the BBC, hit the long target again. Now we're dropping below the BBC. So you want to be watching this area right here, 81.20. You need to take out that low, say 81.10 maybe, down to 81 or 80.90. 80.90 would be $200 per contract trade. Gold. Dropped. When the market finds support, And that support was defined right here. This low. See these lows? Bounced up to the BBC. The pullback holds more often than not. So then we drop to this low, which was defined on Thursday. Then we pull back to the BBC. The pullback held. Then we put in this low, which was determined Wednesday. See how that works? Now, this is the low of the session, so I know we have to overcome that before we start trading short. $19.79. Now see, you can't see that on a tick chart or a range chart or really even a 5-minute chart. The 30-minute chart is my roadmap. Tells me which direction I should be trading in and where the major obstacles are. Again, trading's not easy, but it can be simple. Here's where we opened last night, trapped between support at the BBC, resistance at red and falling. We did reach up and touch last week's zone, pull back to the BBC, ran up to the zone again, but never hit the long target. Then price got below the BBC, blue and climbing, turned to red and falling, and came down to the target, or I'm sorry, to the zone, and traded through the zone. We did not make it all the way to this low. Sometime buyers will come in early. Now, we're at the BBC, but notice red and falling is turning to blue and climbing. So if we take out the high of this little doji right here, 23.24.5, let's call it 23.28 to 23.30. That's 2 pennies. That's your goal for the day. Hold on for me 1 second, guys. All right. Sorry about that. On the last market, euro. Same sideways action that we've seen in all the other markets, pretty much. See, that's a nice day. Look at that rally. Now, after a wide range day like this, it is not uncommon to have a quiet day of sideways consolidation. We're below the BBC. We do have red and falling. We're also below the step line, but we're putting a green candle right up into it. If, however, we take out those lows, then down around 107.385. Again, this is last week's zone, so make sure you look at this week's zones. And tomorrow I'll have this week's zones on the charts, as I do Tuesday. So that's all the markets around the world. On the daily, we got a red candle. We're well off the high of the day, and we're just a little off the low of the day, or the low of the session. Remember, this is the Monday session, but it started Sunday night. Just like tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, that will begin the Tuesday session. Okay. To become a lifetime member with no recurring fees, no upsells, no nonsense, ever. go to eminifuturestrading.com. If you have questions, call Valerie, 949-42-EMINI, or email support@cfrn.net. Now, 2006 Futures Magazine had an article that discussed 9 out of 10 new traders failing. They went on and on with the statistics, but they never gave a reason why. So I, being inquisitive, went on a hunt, and the answer was pretty simple. In fact, once I figured out the reason, I put out a public proclamation. This is way back in 2000, late 2005, early 2006. I offered a handsome sum of money for someone to actually teach me how to trade. A successful, consistently profitable, successful trader to teach me how to trade. How many responses I got? None. So Michael and I had to do it the hard way. Okay. Good news is you don't have to do it the hard way. You've already invested the time, the hours, money. We've down every blind alley there is. I can tell you what works, what doesn't work, and why. And we teach 2 hours and 15 minutes in our live training room every trading day, what we've learned over the years. Now, as a lifetime member, as a passport holder, you have access to the live training room every trading day. You have access to unlimited one-on-one private mentoring. The indicator set and the strategy that you learn. If you're a passport holder, you own the indicator set for life. You'll also have lifetime access to the weekly trading zones. You'll receive the Logic 247 alerts around the clock, the concierge trade alerts. You'll attend the Thursday night members only workshop. And if you're unable to attend live, you'll be able to watch the video in the private Telegram channel we have set up just for that purpose. It really is everything a trader needs, all under one roof, one low price. Again, Passport is your all-access pass to everything we do, everything we've ever done, whatever we do in the future. No occurring fees, no upsells, no nonsense. All right, let's wrap it up with our good word for the day. The last couple of days, we've talked about the cure for anxiety. We're going to continue to talk about it because it's a huge issue for traders. Probably, this is the main reason new traders fail. But the anxiety, which under anxiety, you could put things like fear and all kinds of other stuff. You need to, when you enter a trade, if your pulse quickens, if little beads of sweat break out on your forehead, you haven't got it yet. Once you truly understand, not just with your head, but with your heart, that this is a business based on probabilities, every time you enter a trade, you have no expectation of anything other than whatever happens. Price is either going to hit your target or your stop loss. One of the two. If you're new, you should be trading with a bracket. Okay. Once you become consistent at getting your 2 points a day, If you want to remove your target from the bracket, as Michael does, so that you can catch the runners, that's fine. But it will serve you best in the beginning to always use bracket. Okay? Because price can run up and run back quicker than you can react. But if you have a bracket order in, it'll catch it. Okay? Your goal is to become consistently profitable, 2 points a day, day after day after day after day. The way you make more money over time is the profits you earn getting those 2 points, or the equivalent in any other market, which is $100 per contract traded. As you add contracts, every passport holder gets the 2420 blueprint, which walks you through the process of how to first put together 10 consecutive days in a row in Sim. Then, once you've done that, you'll go live with one contract. Now that you're trading real money, the goal is to increase your account balance by $2,000. Once you've done that, the blueprint will give you the green light to add a second contract with the profit you earned in the market. So the first contract is underwritten with your startup capital, the money you funded your account with. But every additional contract is funded profit you earned in the market. The blueprint will tell you when it's time to add number 3, number 4, number 5, number 10. By the time you get to the 10th contract, those same 2 points that used to make you $100 a day now make you $1,000 a day. So it's not get rich quick overnight. You're learning how to trade all along the way. Okay? And once you've learned how to trade, you'll never again need somebody to tell you when to get in and when to get out. The chart will guide you. Once you understand how to read it and how to know what the next high probability move is. That's very different than knowing what's going to happen next in the market. But knowing with a high probability what the next high probability move is, that's doable. In fact, we do it every day. Okay, cure for anxiety, part 3. Matthew 6:31. So don't worry, saying, what will we eat, or what will we drink, or what will we wear? Now, it's good to have a goal for the future and a plan for reaching it. That's everything I just talked about. But it's not good to project into the future and worry about all the things that could go wrong. That's anxiety, and it should have no place in your mind as a redeemed child of God. So don't worry, saying, what will we eat, or what will we drink, or what will we wear? For the Gentiles eagerly seek all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be provided for you. Therefore, don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Matthew 6:31 through 34. Those scriptures can be reduced to one line. Live trusting God each day to take care of you, and stop projecting into the future. Each morning, God gave the Israelites a one-day supply of food. If they tried to gather more, it rotted. God's message was simple. Each day, I will guide you and provide for you. Anxiety can consume you, can literally eat you alive. So when you feel anxious, stand on this scripture from Lamentations chapter 3. Because of the Lord's faithful love, we do not perish, for his mercies never end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. That's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.